So, welcome to the Dwarven Tavern. My name is Casper, and I enjoy rambling about D&D with my friends. I've decided to try and record some of this rambling and turn it into a podcast. And today we'll be rambling about feats, which we want to be better, why we want them, why we find them lackluster, and how we would try and improve them without making them unbalanced. And today I have my good friend with me, Rasmus, Søgaard, Jacobsen. We've played D&D together for 11 years and known each other for even longer. He is a GM at my local Adventures League community, where I am an organizer. And we definitely know him as the guy with the spreadsheets. So if you need a spreadsheet, Rasmus is definitely the guy who you can rely on.
Sounds about right.
So welcome to the Dwarven Tavern, Rasmus.
Thank you.
Hope you like the atmosphere and remember to open the tab at the bar.
It's very cozy. I enjoy it.
So anything you want to add about you, or did I cover most of it?
I don't know if we're mentioning age, but apparently, as we have known each other played Dungeons and Dragons together for 11 years, should mention that I'm 34.
34?
Yeah.
Such a young man. Because I'm definitely not that much older.
But I am older at heart, and we all know this.
Yes. So today we're talking or rambling, as I like to call it, about feats which we find lackluster. The feats that we find something's missing about these feats. Why the feats that we look at and go like, I like this, but something's off. And today you've brought a feat, and I've brought a feat. And first off, we'll talk about your feat, and then we'll talk about my choice. And the one you've chosen today is one I would say I also definitely see some flaws about, but I will allow you to present your feat and present your case. So, Rasmus, what feat have you brought for us to look at today?
So today I bring forth the Grappler feat. It is from the Player's Handbook, and it reads, first off, it has a prerequisite of strength 13 or higher. It also says you've developed the skills necessary to hold your own in close quarter grappling. You gain the following benefits. You have advantage on attack rolls against the creature you are grappling. And you can use your action to try to pin a creature grappled by you. To do so, make another grapple check. If you succeed, you and the creature are both restrained until the grapple ends. And that's the feat.
That's the feat, yeah. And I just from reading it, I think I wrote you earlier about I'm reading this feat again now, and it still makes me annoyed. So that was a good. I think it's a good diving point. So what are your gripes with this feat?
So I suspect that when the designers came up with this, they were still not entirely locked on to how they wanted grappling and shoving and such other mechanics, the other actions you can take during your turn, the common actions as it were. I don't think they were entirely sure how they wanted that when they came up with this feat. As we know, 5e was known as D&D Next, and there was a lot of iterations over it. So I think the first one that says you have advantage on attack rolls against the creature you're grappling. I think that the ability to shove prone was not thought of at the point where this feat was developed. Because you make the same check to make a grapple that you do to make a shove. The difference is, of course, one imposes the grapple condition and the other imposes the prone condition. With this feat, as it stands, you would have advantage on your attack rolls against the creature you're grappling. But if you shove someone prone and the initiative order is such that your companions might have a turn before the target that you've shoved prone, they could also gain advantage on their attacks, which is more of a team play than just grappling it, because that doesn't actually do very much. If we take a look at the grappled condition, we could see grappled creature's speed becomes 0, and it can't benefit from any bonus to its speed. And then the next 2 points are actually just points telling how the grapple condition ends. If the grappler is incapacitated, or if the grappler or the grappled creature are pushed away from each other.
Yeah, forcibly moved.
Forcibly moved. Yeah. So breaking a grapple is relatively easy. There are a lot of spellcasters that can do it with a spell such as Misty Step, which is very popular for the same reason. Of course, not all NPC monsters, creatures would have Misty Step, but you might actually be better off just shoving someone prone and granting advantage to you and the rest of your team. The next bullet point of the grappler, where you have you can use your action to pin a creature grappled by you. To do so, make another grapple check. You succeed. If you succeed, you and the creature both restrained until the grapple ends. There are a few things there. First off, the grapple action can be a replacement for one of your attacks. So if you have an extra attack, let's say you are a level 5 fighter, you can grapple with the one attack, and then you can attack with the second attack. But if you want to pin this creature, you now have to use your entire action to do it. So there could be something that could be changed there. You could change it to be a similar grapple check as part of an attack action, and the fact that you have to make another grapple check means, as an action, means that you have one turn where you initiate the grapple, then you have to retain the grapple until your next turn, and then you have to grapple again against the creature. Some characters might be specialized to this. If you have a barbarian with expertise in athletics, that might be pretty easy. But you should need to be a barbarian with athletics to be a grappler.
No, because there's also the added point that if you're in a 1v1 and you're this grappling guy, and you will say, I want to pin him down and keep him down. Cool the flavor. This is more like the flavor idea of it, where the flavor and the mechanics don't match, because I'm gonna pin him down, and then we're both restrained and none of us have advantage. But before, where we're holding him, I had advantage. Of course, it makes you a better team player, because then everyone else will have advantage. But as she said, some of the same things can be achieved just by shoving.
Yeah. And if you shovel and you grapple, which you can actually do if we were back to the fighter with two attacks on his attack action, both can be replaced with respectively a grapple and a shove. So you can achieve pretty much the same without inflicting the restraint condition on yourself.
Also, another curious thing that when I was looking at this, I was like, okay, this is the feat Grappler. This will make me awesome at grappling.
Yeah.
Then you look at it and go like, wait, no. It gives no benefits to win grapple.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm looking at it and I'm going like, this tells me extra options if I win the grapple. So
yeah,
that's also like one of those where you look at it and go like, but the flavor tells me I'm the king of grappling.
Exactly.
But only if I've grappled him first.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I can do stuff when I've grappled, but not otherwise.
Yeah.
And when I look at the description of a feat from the player's handbook, it says a feat represents talent or an area of expertise that gives a character special capabilities. It embodies training, experience, and abilities beyond what a class provides. I can see that Grappler does this. I know that there are some other feats that you are discussing with the other people that do not exactly do this.
Just breaking the fourth wall
Uh,
here.
Breaking the fourth wall here.
That took
Uh,
us not long.
I will look forward to seeing the podcasts online myself. I have not sneak peeked anything, but I know that some of them do not actually embody this statement, this idea that it should give special capabilities and give something beyond what a class provides.
'Cause I've always been of the idea with the way that you acquire feats in 5e. Then the feats need to do something. Either they need to be good or have use almost all the time. Example, the observant feat. You're always observant, or it has to
Yeah,
be. Maybe if it just has some uses, it needs to make you really good at that use. Like
yeah,
Great Weapon Master will not always be online, but when it is an option, it's a very good option. So
exactly.
either give something all the time, or be really good at what you do. This
Yeah,
does neither.
I agree.
It just gives you extra options in a niche situation that it does not help you achieve. And
Exactly.
that's where I find this. It's lackluster from a mechanics perspective, but it's also lackluster that it doesn't achieve the flavor it's going for, in my opinion.
I concur. Uh, exactly my thoughts. So I've come up with some ideas to how this feed can be adjusted. I will not present it as a solvo. I know exactly what needs to happen, but I have some ideas, some notions about what way this could go.
Yeah, and thank you for making that transaction, so I didn't have to.
You're welcome.
Well, as I said, some of the other people I've been talking with, tangents on this show is also okay as long as we remember to go back at some point.
I love tangents, but if we head out of those, we will be discussing Monk until morning.
Oh, let's not go there. So,
That's not.
I,
Yeah.
we, that tangent was so close, but then so close, but then we were like, no, 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 no.
Let's
That's
let's not touch that.
that's
We will get
save
burned.
that for a special edition.
Indeed.
So,
So
you have some ideas on how you
I
would
have some
use
ideas.
it, how
Yeah.
you would help it achieve better.
So the first one is completely apparent to me. This is a feat that tells me I've developed skills about grappling. Obviously, I should have advantage on checks to grapple another creature. This seems so intuitive to me that I don't understand it's not part of the original feat. There are several ways to get this advantage otherwise. Like we mentioned the Barbarian's Rage before. You have the Rune Knight Fighter with Giant Smite can also get advantage. You can have enhanced abilities, also get advantage. But this is always on.
Yeah, that
Grappling is always an option for you.
yeah that should you shouldn't when you take a feat called Grappler, you shouldn't need outside forces to make you better at grappling. You should just be better at grappling. So that's also that's actually also my first point is also advantage in strength of defense checks
Yeah,
related to grapples.
yeah. But there might be a difference between what you are saying and what I'm saying, because I just want to grant advantage to grapple another creature. Grapple checks are two ways, and you need the correct syntax in the point to not also grant advantage to escape a grapple. To me, these are different things. So I think this feat should just allow you to grapple someone. Yes, you can be grappled, but you can grapple someone back, and you're probably the better grappler if you have this feat,
Oh,
or
yeah,
at least that's how it's supposed to be.
there's actually nothing that stops you from grappling one who's grappling you.
Not to my knowledge.
No, huh. Little funny little interaction. That's
Yeah,
my 3.5 brain again. That's mixing up rules. Um,
I can relate.
yeah. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. It needs to make you better at doing the grappling. Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't think this overlaps. It has some overlap with these other features that I mentioned that grant advantage on strength checks. But it is this would always be on for this specific type of strength checks. But there is some synergy with my second point that is not apparent from reading the first point. Because my second point is you can use either a strength or a dexterity on your grapple check. I'm unsure if I want it to be acrobatics. I think it should still be athletics, but you can use either your dexterity or your strength for that athletics check to make the grapple.
Yeah.
My reasoning is grappling is about from a fluff perspective. Grappling is about technique. This feat is supposed to any big brute can come and grapple someone, but if you have techniques, you're doing Black Widow taking down Winter Soldier. You could grapple him because you have technique. You don't have the strength of the Winter Soldier, obviously, but you have the technique.
The classic use your enemy's strength against him
Exactly.
martial arts type.
Exactly.
But then I have a question for you. Then would you then keep the prerequisite?
I would not. I actually wanted to lead with that, but I forgot. The prerequisite is dumb. It does nothing. Currently, anyone who wants to grapple will have a strength of 13 or greater, most likely. I don't see this prerequisite actually doing anything. I don't think anyone has ever made a grappler and thought, "Oh yeah, I need 13 dexterity, 13 strength to get this feat."
Yeah, they usually just have it.
They usually just have it. But what I think is interesting, if you had the second point here where you can use strength in place of dexterity for your grapple checks, is that you open up for all sorts of dex grapplers. Suddenly, the rogue can have expertise in athletics and advantage through this. You suddenly have a rogue that through technique is able to be an excellent grappler. You could do similar with a monk if you can spare the ASI on a feat. You could have a monk that was a grappler. Monks do a lot of attacks. They might be interested in grappling someone.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see your how that would be an alternative. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a third bullet point, 3 out of 4. Uh, I was pondering that the feat could also allow you to grapple a creature that is 2 sizes larger than you. As you know, currently you are only able to grapple a target that is 1 size larger than you, which is a limitation that can actually come up somewhat often when you try to make a grappler build. Uh, you often encounter that, oh, I can't, he's huge or gargantuan or what have we. If you allow for a grappler through this feat to grapple a creature that is 2 sizes larger than you, that would mean that a medium can grapple both a large and a huge. But if you hit that grappler with an enlarged person, or enlarged reduce as it's called, uh, you can actually grapple some pretty interesting things. You would have to do some teamwork to set it up, but this would allow you to grapple bigger creatures.
Yeah. I like that idea, but on my first thoughts, how about because I like the idea also that like getting the progressive that your character gets progressive stronger. But how about maybe making it so that while you're when you're level get this if you get this low level, it's just the one size character stronger. But then maybe say if your character is 10th level or above, you can grapple higher creatures. Um,
You could do that.
yeah, but it's also cool at low levels. I like the idea, but I was just thinking about some reason in my head, I thought this would be cool as a progressive feature. Maybe even like
You could definitely do that.
if you're level 10 or higher, 2 size can go strong, higher than you, bigger than you. 15 or higher, 3.
Is there a third? Isn't it just from medium to large to huge to gargantuan? Is there? Of course, you could have a small race and then progress upwards.
Yeah, just a thought.
I can see that definitely. I'm wondering if the feat will be too self-contained, but I also like the idea that the small creatures are able to grapple something bigger than them
Yeah, also
eventually.
if you get hit, if you're a large, not large sized, medium sized, get hit by reduced spell, you could still grapple a big guy.
Yeah, and the advantage from this feat from the first point that I'm suggesting versus the a disadvantage on strength checks from the
Yeah.
reduce would also cancel out. Yeah.
That was just an extra idea I
Yeah.
just thought of, so it was. It's, um, just because sometimes some of the feats can feel a little stale. Like it gives a benefit, but then you have the benefit for 20 levels. And I actually like the idea that what if they progress just a little bit? It doesn't need to
I
be
could definitely see
anything
that.
big or crazy, but um, did you have anything else? Sorry.
I have a fourth point that I was thinking about because we've taken away the advantage on attack rolls a creature you're grappling. That point doesn't exist any longer. But I would like to do something similar to what is in the second point of the original feat, the one where you can use your action to pin a creature. So I was thinking, if I wanted to make a grappler like this, I would have to invest some of my resources. That would be some of my actions to do this. But what if I could use my bonus action to try and shove a creature grappled by my character, provided that I am not grappling another creature. So you can if you only grapple one, you can shove them as a bonus action. Of course, you can grapple another one after that, but
But
you have one
yeah,
down.
but you can already like shove them, like move them, because you can already move the characters.
You can shove them prone.
Okay.
Shove is either
Okay.
movement or prone,
Okay.
and
I just want to be sure what you meant.
yeah, yeah, that makes good. That's a good point. I would probably go with a wording where it said shove prone to clarify that. But that was the fourth idea that I had about making this feat more about grappling, because you would have the advantage that you would have from the original one. You would not have the restraint on yourself, but you are limited in your movement because when you grapple someone and try to move them with you, you're moving at half speed.
Oh, I mean, I may have missed you saying this. You want to remove the if you have grapple a creature, you have advantage on attacks.
Yeah,
Okay, I missed you saying that. Sorry.
yeah. I think that is too straightforward. Perhaps I I am a guy that likes things complex, of course, but um,
Because
compared to
when I think of that one, that part of it, I think like the bullies in the movies, going like holding the the nerdy kid in a headlock and going like, say uncle," right? Yeah.
yeah,
That's at least the visual I get from that one. But
yeah, and I can definitely see that. But I can get a similar image if I imagine someone being under the grappled and the prone condition, and that provides this advantage to the rest of the team as well, uh, incentivizing more team based play, while still giving you actually the same benefits at the cost of a bonus action, so you don't need to wait for your next turn. Still have to succeed on your athletics checks, be they dex or strength. You still have to you still have to grapple it, and you still have to shove it to get it prone.
yeah, I can definitely see a case for it. I think my solutions, if you could say that, was a bit more straightforward, kind of. It's
Yeah.
just sorry about that. Because first of all, I had the same advantage in strength, athletics rolls, idea. But other than that, I was also thinking something like when you have grappled the creature, then you can swap out another attack to make the target restrained without you becoming restrained. But you can't attack while performing this action unless it's in a way that don't require the use of your hands. Like I was having the idea, you have to be like restrained, like going like this or something, and then holding them so your enemies, not your enemies, your friends could just pound on him at the same time. And if you're a lizard folk, you could bite him at the same time.
Yeah.
But you couldn't attack him with your hands. But then I also wanted to make at the same time. I hadn't thought about removing the prerequisite, but I wanted to make the easy solution, which I may have said a couple of times, of making it a half feat that gives +1 strength, so that you are ensured to have a strength of 14 at least when you get this feat.
I do like half feats. They are, in my opinion, a very good addition to the game. Still balancing the full ASI versus a feat versus a half feat. That makes for interesting choices and thus interesting characters. But yes,
this would maybe be a more simple solution,
yeah,
where yours is more a rewrite of the feat.
Yeah.
And a little teaser for maybe some other parts if you watch another part of this podcast. Then I may have also we may also have rewritten another feat, basically. But you would have to watch one of the other episodes of the Dwarven Tavern if you want to know which feat it could be.
I look forward to it.
Well, watch or listen. But I really like how you pump up the flavor. Like mine is a more straightforward, more mechanic based, and yours have like more utility, more options, and I like utility and I like options.
Yeah, because that's what a feat really needs to be. Yeah, I like optimization. I like having strong mechanical things, but this feat that is a capability is an ability, like just like it says, beyond what a class provides. Uh, that is what I'm trying to aim for when I consider these things for discussing with you in the Dwarven Tavern.
Yeah, like some of my more favorite bunch of feats is the ones from Fistban, the gift of the X-Dragon here, because they may not be the most mechanically strong. They're not definitely not weak, but they always give some kind of utility where you look at going, okay, so this will give my character extra options, and I like extra options. While
Yeah.
other people can find it fun to play the what's it called, the big stupid fighter, set with as much love as there's nothing wrong with that, and I do also myself have indulged in just playing a beat stick, but I like options not other than just I attack, I attack,
Yeah.
I attack.
Yeah.
Um,
Different players like different things,
Yeah.
and that's why we have the option to use feats.
and
And
one of the great things about D&D is that you can play it a lot. You can play it in a lot of different ways.
indeed, I have attempted a champion fighter, but I had to rebuild him because I got bored with it. That's just me. I need options. I need things to do. I need clever mechanics and items in my dungeons that I can work with.
Yeah,
All that stuff.
in Adventures League, which we play a lot, you and I also have a champion fighter who was also a divination wizard because again I needed some options. But back to the feat. if we were going to make a feat that we were like, okay, this would make me more inclined to take the grappler. First of all, remove the prerequisite. Because, as you said, some fighters rely on technique, grapplers, and not as much brute strength. So that would be like our starting point. Remove the prerequisite.
Yeah.
And I think if it, again, I like the options. So I think we're more looking at the things you came with than mine, which were so no half feet.
I concur, no half feet.
Yeah.
Though that is an easy fix, and it's pretty straightforward.
Well, it would also require a bit more, but yeah.
Yeah.
The half feet is a thing, but I don't think it's the right one here.
Agreed.
Sorry?
Agreed.
And then you talked about, what was
My first bullet point was advantage on checks to grapple another creature.
Oh, of course.
And that should that should of course be both the act of grappling them and maintaining the grapple.
Yeah, I definitely concur that one.
Yeah. My second bullet was to either use strength or dexterity for the grapple checks.
Oh yeah, allow dex instead of strength on the athletics check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have
again agree, because we're going for the option of going brute strength or technique. So yeah, you should definitely be able to use the dexterity instead.
Yeah. Then we had the creature size of the one that you grapple, where I suggested that it was 2 sizes larger than you, and you suggested a progression.
Yeah, I like the progression.
I am not opposed to the progression. I'm unsure if the feat gets too self-contained. Somewhere I like the idea that you would have to work as a team if you wanted to enable a grappler to grapple something gargantuan. That makes more sense to me. I can see, of course, that a medium creature can grapple a large creature. I can see that with technique, you grab the thumb and twist it around his back or something. You grapple a huge creature. But I think from a fluff perspective, I think that's as far as I think it should go. Because if you go larger, you are having a medium-sized creature grappling a Tarask with technique. And while I can see the joy and fun in that, I'm not sure that should be self-contained in the feat. I think that should require teamwork on a part of the party.
Yeah, so no +3 size.
No, I would just go with the 2 size larger.
Yeah, would you still keep it as from the start, or make it at level 10, or you think?
I think it's actually okay to just go from the start, because your grapple check, supposedly you have at least proficiency, if not expertise, in athletics, and you have either dex or strength, so you would be weaker in the beginning just on account of the check being based on your ability scores and your proficiency modifier. And as you advance in levels, you are able to grapple greater things simply because the DC that you can hit is that much bigger.
Yeah. It's also fine. Again, I like the idea of progression.
Yeah, and I get to elaborate why I think the way I do. And my final point was you can use your bonus action to try to shove a creature prone that is grappled by you, provided you are grappling no other creatures.
Yeah. So because I was just thinking, what's the difference between that and just shoving it prone?
You can use it as you can shove it prone as a bonus action.
Yeah. But what if you just instead of grappling it first, you just shoved
Mm.
it?
It cannot get up. When you have a creature that is grappled, its
Oh, so
movement
you
is
would keep
reduced to 0.
you would keep the grapple.
You would still keep the grapple.
Ah.
This is possible right now. If you have 2 attacks, you can do a grapple with one and a shove with the other, and you have it both prone and grappled. But by using the feat this way, you could be using the bonus action to shove it prone, and then you would have an advantage on your. Then you would have your one attack still available to smack it while it is prone with advantage.
Uh, yeah, so if only grappling one creature, you can shove it prone as a bonus action while maintaining the grapple.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
That was I think that was where I may just have got a bit confused. So remove the
So,
prerequisites. Advantage on strength and athletics check on grappling creatures. So if you have the offensive action.
yeah.
Allow dex to be used on your athletic check instead of strength for swapping it out.
Yep.
Wording. Allow the ability to grapple 2 sizes bigger.
Yep.
And if only grappling one creature, you can shove it prone as a bonus action while maintaining the grapple.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and then
I think that
you also remove the standard.
remove the prerequisite. Remove the other from the original.
Yeah, remove.
Because the advantage in attack rolls that against creatures you're grappling, you can get that from the bonus action if you succeed. But then everyone in your party who is melee, that is of course a prone creature, disadvantage on ranged attacks. But you can make it.
Sorry.
And that's actually
sorry for the cough.
yeah, that's okay. It's a trade-off because of course the restraint condition would be better if you have a lot of ranged party members. They would not be very keen to have a creature go prone, but no one wants you to get restrained as well.
Yeah, because
So I think this is a compromise.
I actually made that as a point as well, where it was like, if you're just grappling him, you have advantage on attack rolls while attacking. If you pin him down, then you lose the advantage. You lose that advantage because you are restrained as well. Plus, his allies can attack you with advantage. So you're making a worse situation for yourself. Better for your teammates, but worse for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So remove the prerequisite. Remove the advantage on attack rolls against creatures you're grappling. Advantage on strength and athletics check on grappling creatures. Allow dexterity instead of strength on the athletics checks, which would still keep the advantage on the other bullet point. Allow the ability to grapple creatures 2 size categories bigger, stronger, larger. And if you're only grappling one creature, you can, as a bonus action, try and shove them prone while maintaining the grapple.
Yeah.
Yeah. We happy?
I'm very satisfied.
Yeah.
These are my ideas. Why wouldn't be satisfied?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's a good solution. Opening it up a bit for more types of more kinds of builds.
Yeah. Styles of play.
Yeah. So I like it. Definitely. Sorry, I could just feel something on my leg. We may have a visitor at some point, but let's see.
Is it one of the cats?
Yes, it's one of the cats.
Oh, I love cats.
Cats in the tavern.
I will sneak some food for it under the table.
Don't tell the the health inspectors.
Oh no, I believe there is a persistent banish spell for any inspectors entering the tavern.
And anyone here to remove the cats, you're banished.
Yes, that sounds accurate.
Just removing my microphone cable.
Sounds like a good precaution.
Okay, so just a moment. Sorry, get out.
Yeah.
My feet are getting bitten.
Hello there.
You're a TV star now.
Hi.
Oh, get away. Get down.
He's grown big.
Yep, definitely. He's no longer 800 grams as a 5-month-old cat. That's when we found him.
No.
So, back to and with that transition. Let's talk about the next feat, which is the one that I've chosen. And this is.
I am very eager to hear about it.
This is definitely one of those where I was looking at it and go like, something's not right. Something in the fluff and the mechanics are not the same. And that is the Dungeon Delver feat. And the Dungeon Delver feat is a feat that alerts you to the hidden traps and secret doors found in many dungeons, and gives you the following benefits. You have advantage on perception and investigation checks to detect the presence of secret doors. You have advantage on saving throws to avoid or resist traps. You have resistance to damage dealt by traps, and while traveling at a fast pace, you are not imposed the normal -5 penalty on your perception score. Yes, there's something here missing, in my opinion. There's some points from the fluff and the mechanics where you're like, wait, this, again, as with the graffiti, something here says, wait, shouldn't it make me better at that? Because you are alert to the hidden traps, but you're not better at finding them. You're better at finding the secret doors, yes, but not the traps. So yeah, you're better at avoiding traps if you find them by springing them. And the problem with finding traps by springing them is that it technically makes you a good trap finder, but not an efficient one, in my opinion.
I concur.
Yeah.
Did you realize? I don't know if you're bringing this up later. I don't want to overstep. But for the first point where you have advantage on perception and investigation checks to detect the presence of secret doors, do you know where else you can get that?
No, I can't remember at the moment.
If your dungeon master uses the variant tool proficiency rules from Xanathar's Guide to Everything, as is permitted in AL play, if you have the carpenter's tools and the mason's tools, you have advantage to spot trapdoors and secret passages.
Okay, that's even worse. I actually did not know that, but that just makes this feat even worse. But the other thing is the last bullet point. Traveling at a fast pace. Traveling at a fast pace while delving into a dungeon.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had that.
I have played D&D for over 20 years. I have never, while delved into a dungeon, looked at the other characters and go like, hey guys, you know what we need to do? We need to run down in here. But what about the traps? Oh, don't worry, because I don't have a -5 penalty while running.
Yeah. And The fact is,
this feat,
this. Hmm?
This is better for overland travel.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That
where
bullet point does not apply to dungeons.
That's where it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Overland travel. You have a
You,
feat called Dungeon Delver that makes you better at overland travel, or traveling at a fast pace.
that is a major inconsistency with the fluff of the feat and the benefit given by the feat. I concur.
I was looking at that and just going, okay, traveling at fast. Okay, you don't get a minus for perception. That's good. Then I was like, wait, at a fast pace. I've run out of dungeons. I have never run into a dungeon. So, of course, it will help you spot things while you're running out so you don't step in it. But usually you've already been there.
Yeah.
So you would have spotted when you went down. So I was like, what?
So you would keep the 3 first bullet points. No. You're satisfied with those? No.
I am satisfied with the advantage on saving throws made to avoid and resist traps. Fine. No problem with that. You have resistance to damage dealt by traps. Again, good. You have an idea how traps works. You know how to dodge, how to avoid it. Okay. If you see, you extended trap. You know it's a fireball trap. I need to get behind this rock. So, like, you know how to mitigate the damage. I like that. Those are fluff. They work like with the fluff. You know about traps. You know how they work. Good. Nice. Well, the first thing I would do is for the first bullet point, I would make a little addition at the end there that says, add traps. Basically, you have advantage on perception and investigation checks to detect traps.
Absolutely.
You are delving the dungeons. You know that traps. You're on the lookout. You have advantage.
I have a question for you in that regard.
Yes.
Because we are talking advantage here.
Yeah.
But secret doors and traps are exactly the type of checks that uses a passive score.
Yeah.
So why advantage and not just say +5?
Because if you have advantage, it usually just also gives you a +5 to your passive.
Yeah, but if you have advantage from another source on your perception and your investigation checks, that first bullet point doesn't do anything because advantage plus advantage is still just advantage.
Yeah.
So that was a consideration I had when I read that.
Yeah, but then again, then I wonder where I think that's a niche situation. But and sometimes you have abilities that overlap. I find that fine. In my opinion. Also, not to make the checks ridiculous, because often a character who would take the Dungeon Delver feat is because they want to look for traps. So they already have proficiency, and they get and there may be something else down here.
Please proceed.
Yes. Let's see. First of all, advantage to detect traps to the first bullet point. My next bullet point is scratch the last part. Get it away. It gives you nothing.
So you have advantage to saving throws?
The last bullet point.
Oh, the last bullet point. Yep.
Bye.
That can just go away.
I do not need to be better at moving fast over land to be a dungeon delver.
No.
And then I would add advantage on disabling traps and opening locks. Again, keeping with the fluff.
Yeah.
And then I would give proficiency in Thief Tools. Or, if you already have proficiency in Thief Tools, you would gain expertise.
You know exactly what I wrote on my list for ideas for this?
That?
Exactly that. Exactly that.
That's just... You're the Dungeon Delver. Okay, yeah. Find your Thieves Tools and open this. Thieves what now?
I can see... See, there's a trap there. I have no idea how to disable it. There's a secret door there. I don't know how to get it open, but it's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course,
Exactly.
there's still the funny flavor of the barbarian trap finder. I found a trap. Can you disable it? Roar! Not as much
There
disabling
is that.
as springing it, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's a funny
And
idea. But yeah, if you are in a dungeon delver, you want to take a feat like this. Again, as we talked about with the grappler feat, it needs to make you better at the things that you need to do, that you want to do.
exactly.
Um,
And it doesn't even though rogues are the only class that is able to get expertise in thieves tools, as far as I know, it doesn't overshadow or overlap because the rogue will always be maxing their decks. Very few other characters max their decks. There are some dex fighters and such that also do, but the rogue is dedicated to his dexterity. But also the rogue now has a different thing that he can have expertise in if he takes this feat.
let's say that my Adventures League high level rogue, he enjoys his constitution more. But, but yeah, that's definitely depending on the builds. He is also not
Yeah,
a dungeon delver. He is more a melee fighter. Um,
yeah. They need a good constitution.
yes. He is also the most weak Goliath you've ever seen. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, if you're delving down, you need to be able to use the tools to help you in the dungeon. Because again, why would you take this feat then? But what if I had it already? Then it still doesn't make you better at using the tools.
No.
Um,
And
and then you
if
can
you're
use.
planning on taking this, you might not. You might have thieves tools proficiency from your background. This will give you expertise. If you are a rogue and consider getting expertise in this in thieves tools, but you also plan on taking this feat, you're not going to take the expertise from your class expertise. You're going to take it from this.
And then you can say, like, in Adventures League, with replay, we can rebuild every level, so it's easy for us to, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go Dungeon Delver now, then I remove the expertise. But even in a home game, unless your GM is very unreasonable, you go to them and say, like, hey, I want to take the Dungeon Delver feed. Can I remove my expertise from Thief Tools and put it in cooking?
Yeah, I figured this Tome of Annihilation. That's actually more like a dungeon. Maybe we should have gotten some. Can I reboot
Yeah, yeah.
Dungeon Delver? Yeah.
Well, at least most GMs that I've met are reasonable. We're like, okay, if you don't like it, let's look at how would you enjoy your character more. Because at least,
Yes.
as me as a GM, if someone comes to me and says, I don't enjoy playing my character, can I play another? My first instinct would be, uh, may, we can certainly look at that, but is there anything we can do to make you enjoy your current character more? Because it often makes for a more cohesive story that you're playing the same character.
I like it when he's not dead.
Well,
Okay.
in the campaign we play here together, I haven't killed you yet.
You haven't killed us yet, and my character
Well,
is very killable.
I have killed as many important characters as you guys have. Allies.
Yeah. 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 True.
Okay, I'm not saying who, but someone, not you, blew up a cart and
And happened to hurt someone that is my sworn protector.
yes, she got better.
She got better.
But yeah, that's another story. Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Okay, so thieves
Thieves
tools,
tools, yeah,
proficiency and
expertise in
expertise
thieves
if
tools,
you don't know it.
proficiency or expertise, and then there was the advantage of disabling traps and opening locks, because
Yep.
you need, if you want to be the dungeon delver, the dungeon guy who goes like, oh, I know everything about going down there. You probably stumble upon a trap or a lock or two and an idea how to deal with these.
Would even argue that you were practicing, preparing for this, knowing, okay, new lock mechanics here. I need to figure this out. Let me sit and train on a short rest or something.
Yeah, and then there's scratching the last part again because why is this here? Uh, and then the last part was adding advantage to take traps to the first bullet point. So it was
Hmm?
not just to detect the secret doors.
Yeah.
And that's basically my ideas. I've messed a bit about with the idea of maybe throwing in something about gaining knowledge how to deal with magical traps, but then again, I was like, that's maybe a bit too much. There needs to be something for the wizards as well.
I concur. Uh, though I feel with the changes you have stated, I still feel that the Dungeon Delver is inadequate. It do, I can't see myself taking it over taking an ASI unless I know that I'm going to have a campaign going into to dungeons. But I think that is what it is, because you will always have. Sometimes you have adventures. We play Adventures League often. You often have modules that don't have traps, that don't have dungeons, that don't have secret doors. But you also have some that do. So many of the benefits are circumstantial, and I find that still to make it a bit lackluster.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those feats that's niche again. Um,
I would consider if it was so circumstantial that it should actually be a half feat with all of the bullet points that you are mentioning. Plus one dex, plus one int, plus one wisdom. Choose one of those.
yeah, so that because what it gives you is so niche.
Yeah,
And this is maybe not like other niche situations where this is not as strong when you have the niche, and that it would, yeah, I could see, yeah, make it a half feat where you take intelligence, wisdom, or dexterity.
yeah. I think that would bring it more up to par. It, I think that might actually still put it below feats like Fate Touched or Shadow Touched, because you get a lot of good benefits, and those are half feats. But this puts it more on par with the other feats, and would make me consider it.
Yeah.
I
Also,
think.
I also like that it's while there are other multiple choice feats, it's usually strength for dex. It's wisdom, intelligence, charisma. It's most of them are like it's either the mental stats or the physical stats, and
Yeah,
this actually gives you options for both. So you could also that would be a very niche build, but you could also use this for a trap finding mage, a wizard.
yeah.
Oh,
If I believe my wizard that we play with in Rime of the Frostmaiden, he has proficiency in thieves tools and other proficiencies in tools.
well,
If he was having an odd dex score, he could take it. If he was having an odd int score, he might take it.
are you saying your character's spot is good at spotting?
Yes. No, he's not. His perception is terrible, but investigation pretty good.
That's actually funny. So, if I were to summarize a bit on this, because I think that would be fine. This would be a fine feat. Then if it was a dungeon heavy game, it would move it into the very good. In a non-dungeon where it may come up now and then, it's decent.
Yeah,
And the feats don't need to be more than decent, in my opinion. Um,
I agree.
yeah, I know for some people this is definitely a controversial opinion, but a lot of people saying Sharpshooter and Great Wind Master are overpowered, or really strong. I'm like, yeah, they're fine. But
They are good. They're good at what they do,
yeah, but
and
that's again a whole other can of worms.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Unpopular opinion maybe, but who knows? Maybe someone will call me an idiot for this. So, what we have talked about is we talked about the grappler feed, and to summarize, the feed we ended up in coming up with where we were like, this would be one that we could see ourselves taking. We would remove the prerequisite of the 13 strength. We will remove the advantage in attack rolls against creatures that you're grappling. And then we would put into an advantage on athletics checks to grapple a creature or maintaining a grapple. And we would allow the athletic checks to be made with dex instead of strength, your choice.
Yep.
To allow for the technical dex builds, technical grappler dexterity builds. And then allow the ability to grapple things 2 size categories bigger than you.
Yeah.
To add the variety in what you can grapple. And if you are grappling one creature, and only one, you can travel prone as a bonus action while maintaining the grapple, so your allies can benefit from it.
Yeah, try to shove prone.
Yeah, try to, yes. No, it's not automatics.
Yeah.
And then the Dungeon Delver feat. First of all, we would add the advantage given to find secret traps. We would extend secret doors. We would extend to also finding traps, because it says in the feat you're alert to traps, but so you need to be better at finding them. And then we would scratch the last bullet point, the fast traveling one that doesn't make sense for this feat. We would keep the 2 in the middle, where you, if you do spring a trap, you are much better at avoiding it. And then we would add advantage on disabling traps and opening locks, because again, you are the dungeon guy. You should know this. And give proficiency or expertise, if you already have proficiency, in Thieves' Tools. Because I know how to disable it, if only I had known how to use the Thieves' Tools.
Exactly.
And last and not least, too, because it's a niche. It's a strong niche. It's strong in the niche, but it needs to give something when the niche doesn't come up. We want to make it a half feat, where you can choose if it gives +1 wisdom, dexterity, or intelligence.
Yeah. I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, it definitely seems like some rather good feats. Decent, which I could
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is it a tangent if I prepared something for it?
Well, the time is running. Maybe.
Okay, so I was considering when I looked at this Dungeon Delver, there are multiple interpretations of the idea of a Dungeon Delver. The fluff text says something about skills and preparations to help you, but it doesn't. Accustomed to delving into dangerous dungeons, you have developed skills and preparations to help you. It doesn't actually say anything about traps and secret doors. So I was stuck wondering, because I came to the idea with the half feat as well. I was stuck wondering, if I were to design this, how would I make it so that this is someone who is a hardcore adventurer who is used to delving into dangerous dungeons and knows how to prepare for it? So I came up with an alternate Dungeon Delver, which focuses less on traps and secret doors and more on things I think an adventurer would like to be able to do. And it is not set entirely in stone.
Let's do a fast tangent.
Okay. First off, it would be the first bullet would be similar to the other Dungeon Delver. You would have +5 to your passive perception and investigation to detect presence of secret doors and traps. This is common for someone who delves into dungeons. I know that I need to be aware of traps. I need to be aware of secret doors. Then I was thinking, someone who delves into dungeons would like to prepare potions. Well, you can always have potions available, you've bought them or whatnot, but having them prepared would be different. You would have, say I had 10 potions, I could prepare a number of them equal to my proficiency modifier, and these potions that I've prepared I would be able to consume or use as a bonus action. I know that many DMs like to allow potions to be bonus actions, but this would allow someone who delves into a dungeon knows that he needs to have a healing potion at hand and easy to consume. Finally, I was thinking something along the lines of allowing, with this feat, allowing a reduced a number of spell scrolls that you could use. You didn't have to have a spellcasting list to use it. It would circumvent the spell scroll rules to allow, for instance, martial characters who delve into dungeons to still have a spell scroll and be able to use it. They would just need to prepare it over a short or long rest or something like that, and then they would be able to use it for, until the next long rest, where they would need to look at it again because they are not spellcasters. They do not know how spells work unless they prepare them, but this would give them the ability to do that.
So like, this is not what's a dungeon delver who focuses on dealing with the traps. He may be able to find them, but he does not deal with them.
Yeah,
Instead, he prepares. He's more focused on preparing things that will make you more likely to overcome the challenges of the dungeon.
exactly. It would be someone who wants to prepare for a dungeon and has experience with it, in line with the feat description. Training experience and abilities beyond what a class provides, special capabilities.
I do like the idea, but maybe we could, as to use our semi Danish uh, quote. Maybe we could use that in another afsnit.
Yes, I would
So,
love to
so
discuss that with you
maybe
in another
yeah,
episode.
designing new feats could maybe be another topic for another.
Hmm?
I also have the idea of making podcasts with more people because that will also be fun. But that's a
Yeah.
whole other thing. But with this, I think our time here in the Dwarven Tavern is gone for today. Um,
Yes.
Maybe before the cats start eating all the legs of the patrons. I hope you
It
have.
has been a lovely evening,
Yeah,
and make sure to pet the cat for me.
I will. And I hope you've enjoyed our time
I
here
did.
and our talk. And remember to pay a tab at the bar, or dwarfs, they can be written. So yeah. And maybe anything you want to add about yourself? Anything want to say?
Thank you for having me. It
Yeah.
was fun to have discussions where we got to deep dive some feats and talk about how we would do it.
Yeah, it's also fun trying to say it in a word where we actually try and make other people could benefit from our talks and not just our normal ramblings. But yeah,
Yeah.
and with this, thank you. And if anyone has been listening, hope you've enjoyed it and got something you could use in your games. And we will now leave the Dwarven Tavern.